Okay, we are live. I've got my notes. Here we go. Hi guys. I had kind of a crazy morning with running around, and I actually worked out this morning and took my son to school. So yes, yes, this is as good as it gets regarding my appearance. I usually try and pull myself together a little bit for these chats, show a little professionalism, but not today. This is what it is. Hi, everyone. I'm so happy to be with all of you today. I hope that everyone can find us. This is going to be a really good conversation. Lupus and stress. See, I put a little exclamation point there because stress is stressful. Welcome as people start to log on. Don't forget to share this on your personal Facebook page. It is April 14th. In fact, maybe I will do that as people start to find us. It's April 14th. Can you even believe that? That just blows my mind. Hold on. I need to be here, and then I can do that, and then I can do more lupus, and then I can share it. Here we go. Share. Now. Voila. Hopefully people, did that go through? Let's see. Yes, it did. Fantastic. Yeah, so don't forget to share this on your personal Facebook page so that other people can get connected. As I mentioned, it is April 14th. It is National Minority Health Month. It is Sjogren's Disease Awareness Month. We talked about that last week. We also have a blog on that. We shared some stuff that Dr. Thomas is doing for Sjogren's Disease Awareness Month. And, more to come with that throughout the rest of the month as well. So Minority Health Month, Sjogren's Disease Awareness Month, and Stress Awareness Month. So I'm going to talk most of the time regarding that in a little bit. But yeah, it's just been another really busy week. Hello from South Africa. That is amazing. Good to have you here. Love that people are joining from all around the world, looking for connection and support. We are wired for community, and we're so thankful that you reached out and found us. And anyone who's joining today, please tell us where you're joining from. If you have lupus or a lupus overlap condition, or maybe you're here to support someone living with lupus or another overlap condition, or you suspect you may have lupus. And any questions, any comments, any concerns, please post them here. And then after I do my information, which will be about stuff going on in lupus and stress, and then my inspiration, I give you a quote or a poem to kind of set you in a positive space for the rest of the week. I start at the top of the comments and I work my way down. So write questions. Maybe I'm thinking of starting a new medication. I want to know about Benlysta or Saphnelo, or any of you on prednisone. How are you doing with that? What about supplements? Or I'm trying to incorporate more homeopathic or alternative therapies. Has anyone had luck with acupuncture or massage or whatever? Maybe this keeps coming up in my conversations with my loved ones, and I don't know how to set this boundary or talk openly about this part of my illness. How much do I have to share? All of these questions. Why do I feel like my life is cut in half? BL before lupus and AL after lupus. Do you guys feel that way as well? I'm going to the rheumatologist for the first time. What do they need to know? What's important for me to tell them? How can I chart my symptoms? All those things, put them here, and we'll try and get through as much as we can within the hour. We've got Carolyn here. We got Danae. I think I'm saying that right. So please, tell us where you're joining from. So yes, very busy week. Can you even believe it? We are on the cusp of, we're in holiday season, and we've got Passover right now, Good Friday, Easter on Sunday, Good Friday on Friday, obviously. So happy holidays to all my Jewish and Christian friends who are celebrating, and maybe spring solstice to everybody else or whatever. Spring spring is upon us, so whenever you celebrate this time of year. Very busy. And I just want to introduce myself very quickly for those of you who may be new. My name is Kelly, and I am the creator and executive director of this Portland-based profit, More Than Lupus. We are small, but we are mighty. And if you are unfamiliar with More Than Lupus, we are a multi-ethnic, multi-generational, international, as you can see. We've got South Africa here with us today. Lupus community that is designed by lupus patients. That's what makes us different. And we are lupus patient-centered. We designed this platform to make space to connect and to grow and to inspire each other throughout the peaks and valleys of our lupus journey. And I say our lupus journeys because I have lived with systemic lupus and multiple lupus overlap conditions, RA, Raynaud's, Sjogren's, chronic anemia, since the age of 11. So I'm a pediatric lupus patient, spent most of my older childhood, my pre-adolescence and adolescence in and out of children's hospitals. Longest hospital stay was 5 months. Yeah, it was a lot. So I've been in the trenches with you, and I understand how this disease can vacillate from day to hour to what seems like minutes. You can feel fine and then not feel fine. So I understand that. Now, we believe here that every person living with lupus, no matter their background, no matter what their religious beliefs are, should be treated, or social status should be treated with equity, with dignity, and taken seriously. It is our mission that patients feel heard and seen and valued. That is our goal, is to, if that is not happening, to figure out what the barrier is to can make space for everyone. This is really important too if you are newly diagnosed with lupus or you're just finding us. We see you. We know how overwhelming this can be. Many of you may have had lupus for a while, but things have been pretty dormant. And then all of a sudden, wow, something came out of the woodwork. And you're like, why? I was doing so well. And now I've got kidney issues or this terrible infection or pleurisy, or I have to do infusions. Why? And it can really throw you. So we highly encourage you, whether you are newly diagnosed or you're going through a flare or you just want to connect with people because you've had lupus for a long time and you want to provide support and a listening ear, we encourage you to check out our blogs on morethanlupus.com. We've got close to 150 blogs there with a variety of subjects with you in mind. They're curated to fill the patient needs, whether it's lifestyle, symptoms, treatments, diagnostics, whatnot. So check it out, because navigating this illness can be really tricky. And we know that firsthand because we live with it. Yeah. Where this is not some sort of outside perspective looking in. No, we are in the trench. I do have a few updates before I get into today's topic. First, I want to let you know that we are not doing in-person support meetings at this time. But we are doing our virtual support groups. We hope to be back in person soon, but for now, we're just doing virtual. We still will have our virtual support group that meets the third Saturday of the month, and it is going to be happening actually this Saturday on Zoom, April 19th at 3 p.m. Also, we have some incredible virtual symposiums up on our YouTube. So check out our More Than Lupus YouTube account. We have the Getting to the Heart of the Matter one, which is incredible. Everyone needs to watch that because cardiovascular disease is one of the top causes of death for people with lupus. And that's by Dr. Thomas. Also by Dr. Thomas, we have our kidney nephritis event, another absolute must watch. He shared so many pearls of wisdom when it comes to improving heart health. So please take a watch at improving your kidney health and actually preventing lupus nephritis flares and being proactive instead of reactive. So that is an absolute must watch there. So check out our YouTube. Also, May is a few weeks away. Can you even believe that? It is just around the corner, which, of course, is one of our biggest months of the year. Duh, right? Lupus Awareness Month is May. It's also Fibromyalgia Awareness Month. So if some of you have that, then there you go. It's a double whammy. And I have some exciting announcements. Every year we try and figure out things that are working, that are not working, maybe bringing back some things that have worked in the past. Effort versus impact is kind of my brain thought there. So we are still doing I'm thrilled, our Take a Loop for Lupus. People really enjoy it. It is a very easy breezy walk, a fundraising and awareness walk, there we go, that we do. It'll be our 7th annual, I think, Take a Loop for Lupus. May 17th, that is a Saturday, and it's going to be in the morning at Peninsula Park. We do it at 10 a.m. before peak UV hours. We never know what kind of weather we're going to get in May here in the Pacific Northwest in Portland. Sometimes it's 100 degrees. We've had walks where it was so blazing hot, and then we've had walks where we just were drenched in rain, and then we've had a lot of in between where it's a little bit chilly, but the sun kind of came out a little bit. Wasn't too bad. So because of a lot of people who live with photosensitivity with lupus, we always plan it at 10 a.m. because peak UV hours don't start till 11 and we're wrapping it up by then. Okay. So yeah, May 17th, Peninsula Park, 10 a.m. It's very fast, and there's parking all around the perimeter of the park. So it's usually around 10 to 11, and we're wrapping up by 11:30. Okay. The other thing I wanted to tell you is the night before, we're doing these 2 events back to back. Might as well, right? Friday, May 16th, we're bringing back a really fun thing we did a few years ago called Dance for a Cause. And Dance for a Cause will be a fundraiser at the Edge Fitness Gym in Wilsonville. That's right outside of where I live here in Sherwood. This was a blast the last time we did this, and our hope is to make it even bigger than before. Now, some of you may know that dance is a love of mine. I took my first tap class, I think, when I was 3 years old. I was very involved in dance as a little girl, and then through my grade school years, I spent many nights at the dance studio. I loved jazz. Until my pediatric systemic lupus set in and took me from the dance floor to the hospital floor. And you know what? There are times in my life where I've had varying degrees of mobility issues. I went from dancing to being confined to a wheelchair for 2.5, close to 3 years. I've had armband crutches. I've had to use ankle flex orthodoxes. I've had to use varying mobility aids, crutches, to help me through my disease flares, because my disease does impact my musculoskeletal system and my joints. But one thing that I am certain is that my passion for dance has never gone away. And I want to encourage that for you, if I can pause for just a moment and say that a lot of times we think that when we have a setback physically, or when our disease comes on very strong, maybe at diagnosis or in this season of flare, we think that we just have to give up whatever that passion was that brought us such joy before lupus. Maybe some of you were swimmers or enjoyed hiking or played soccer, and all of a sudden you're like, I can't do this anymore because of my lupus. Can't is a very strong word. I read once in a book, argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they're yours. If my mom was watching, she'd know that quote. But argue for your limitations, and sure enough, they're yours. I'm not saying that you have to push yourself to do something when you, at that moment in your life, cannot do it. But what I'm saying is is that you do not have to put that type of absolute into your life, into your vocabulary. The can'ts and the won'ts and the always and the nevers. Those are absolute statements. We don't need them. We don't need them because we don't know. We truly don't know. There are no guarantees, good or bad. Oh, hold on one second. And it is absolutely important for you to hold on to the things that bring you joy. Yes, there are times where it may look different how you apply them. When I couldn't dance, I wrote poetry, and then I did art, and then I started getting into musical theater, and then I was strong enough that I could dance again. Now, it doesn't look the same as it did when I was 10 or when I was 8, and I could do splits, and I could do jumps, and I could do beautiful extensions and batmas that hit my nose. No, of course not. I've got exceptionally tight hamstrings. I've got limited mobility in some of my joints. I've got arthritis in my knees. I've had 4 knee surgeries and 2 rounds of Synviscs. It doesn't, but I still love to do it. And even if it is moving my hand to music in a dance fitness class, I will take it and I will enjoy it as much as I could, as much as I can. So anyway, we're doing this. We're doing this dance fitness event. I'm so thrilled. And Dr. Thomas, just so you know, Dr. Thomas said dance is one of the best things on his top list of exercise for his lupus patients to do, because it helps with mobility, strength, it's cardio, it's good for your heart, and it's also very good for combating cognitive dysfunction, because in dance class or dance fitness, you are learning patterns, you are challenging yourself with new patterns, and that helps your brain. You are developing new neural pathways. Your brain is like plastic. It is growing. You are helping all the parts of your body. So dancing is great. So that's why this event is extra special to me. And I hope that those of you who live in Portland will come out. It's 6 to 7:30 at the Edge Fitness. We're going to have some of my favorite dance instructors there to lead us through a great workout with fun and easy to follow routines. Please come. And that's the night before the walk, Friday, May 16th. May 16th, 6 to 7:30. There you go. Okay, let me get to the disclaimer and then into our topic for today. Listen up, people. If you haven't heard this in a while, the More Than Lupus Facebook Lupus Live support chat is aimed to be a positive and open space where you can both give and receive support and encouragement from others. I am not a doctor. We are not doctors at More Than Lupus, even though we have Dr. Thomas, who's our kind of medical advisor. He is not acting as your personal physician, nor are his comments liable because he does not know the nuances of your medical history. I can also not give you medical advice or tell you and diagnose the symptoms that you may be having. I can't even tell you that what has helped me in my 33 years of living with systemic lupus and multiple lupus overlap conditions will help you or hurt you. I can't do that. All I can do is provide you with information that you can take back to your doctor and your care team and hopefully have an open and honest conversation about what is best for you. Additionally, this group is intended for those living with lupus or lupus overlap condition. It's also intended to provide support and encouragement to those who know someone living with lupus or lupus overlap condition, a friend, a family member, a coworker, a loved one, a neighbor. However, every once in a while, this chat gets shared in places it shouldn't get shared on the interwebs, and you'll see a little spam. I see it, I get rid of it, and I will tell you to refresh your page. If they don't fall into those 2 categories, not the right chat for them, time to move on. I will see it, and any inappropriate material will be deleted. Lastly, I just want to remind everyone once again to share this on your personal Facebook page. The more that you care, the more you share, and then the more other people will be aware. So please do it. Let's talk about today's topic, shall we? Da-da-da. Let's go there. We've got a few people from South Africa today. We've got Wisconsin. We've got, who else is joining? Tell me where everyone's joining from. I'm here in Portland. Where is Michelle? Michelle, you are in, I want to say, are you in Washington? No. Where are you from? Anyway. All right, there's a very loud truck going by. Okay, Lupus and stress. So let's get right to the point here, okay? Coping with a very ever-changing, unpredictable, and incurable chronic illness like lupus is stressful. All right, see ya, that's it. Moving on. No, just kidding. Lupus, you are constantly waiting. I was talking about this the other day with friends for the other shoe to drop, right? Even if things are going well, you're like, yeah, it's going well today, but are my kidneys going to last this well forever? Or am I going to have, to go on an infusion, or I have to do this or that, or what are these side effects? You're always kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. And it can induce fears about the future. We got New Zealand here too. That's great. Future, especially when you are trying to navigate flares and remissions and good days and bads, like I said earlier. And these fluctuations, these ups and downs can make you feel like you're out of control. That can make you feel helpless in your own life. And you are just a mere player. And this big thing, this big terrible thing is calling all the shots, right? That fear of the unknown can keep you up at night. A lot of us have some sort of anxiety about our pain coming back, or even entering spaces like medical places, ERs, hospital settings. You can get that, do I need to go to ER for this problem that's now appearing? And then your body remembers the last time you were at the ER and something really traumatic happened, and then you start having anxiety and stress over that. And before you know it, you're like, I am working myself up. I'm so stressed out. I don't even know if this is a big deal or not, right? That fear of the unknown can really mess with you and can cause intense anxiety and worry and anger and sadness throughout your day. And if that's something that you are going through that seems to be pretty consistent, I highly encourage you to first tell yourself that those are normal feelings. We are human. Feelings are not good or bad. Feelings are feelings, and everyone has them. And you can feel a lot of different things at one time. However, I just want to make clear that there are professionals that are trained to help you navigate those feelings, especially when really hard things have happened to you, which is also not your fault. And they can help you process them so that when the next hard thing that happens, because life is full of hard things, you can do those hard things without holding on to the intensity of the emotions they may bring forward. Does that make sense? And a therapist or counselor and different modalities can help you work through those big, scary feelings, especially when it comes to fears of the unknown, or possibly, which is kind of future oriented, or possibly stuff from the past, which could be, medical post-traumatic stress, or some sort of trauma that happened that is brought up. Yeah. So all those feelings are emotional, are normal. All those feelings are normal. However, as I said, if you don't deal with them, sometimes they can be unhealthy, and they can cause consequences on your body and your mind and your soul if you are stuck in those feelings. And I hope that just talking a few minutes that I have with you, just skimming the surface about stress and talking about different types of stress, might be helpful for you to kind of have these conversations with the right people in your life, whether that's a counselor or spiritual advisor, someone that's a wise person to seek counsel from in your life. So let's talk about different types of stress. Now, acute stress, ACUTE, acute stress. This is the type of stress that occurs when we are presented with something, either a task or a situation or a problem that temporarily affects our life. It is not something that is ongoing. It's temporary. And these circumstances, even though they are temporary, can hinder us and cause an intense state of mental or emotional strain. For instance, like if there is a work project, or maybe if you're in college, a big assignment that you have to turn in, and then your computer crashes, or you get stuck on the way to a board meeting in terrible traffic, and you are just like, your heart is racing, you're sweating, you're so beyond stress. That is a type of acute stress, something that comes on all of a sudden and it's temporary, right? A flat tire while you're going to a big wedding, or you have to be somewhere, you have to catch a flight and you forgot your driver's license. That's acute stress, okay? And that is simply a part of being alive. Things happen, and there are no guarantees in life. Try as we may to control everything. We cannot expect everything to be perfect all the time because we do not live in a perfect world, right? Things are messy, and you cannot control traffic. You can't control public transportation. You can't control the weather. You can't control if your toddler decides to throw applesauce all over your clean work shirt, or you run over a nail on your way and you have to pull over, whatever. So the good news is that even while looking at these moments, whether it's acute stress or chronic stress, which we're going to get into that in a second, there are ways that your body has developed over time to help you cope. When you are introduced to a stress, it is amazing. Our bodies are crazy. We have this nervous system that helps us deal with stress. It's so fascinating to me. I mean, I'm reading a lot about our nervous system and our different things. And by the way, this is a very great book, Strong Like Water. If you're interested in learning more, there you go. There you go. Anywho's, so our nervous systems are devised to react to stressors. And it's like a biological response mechanism that equips us with the ability to process stressful things that happen. And this is called our fight, flight, or freeze response. There's also another one called fawn. And this is your body's reaction to threat or danger that helps you through hormonal and physiological changes that happen pretty instantaneously to act in order to protect yourself. It is a survival instinct that our bodies have developed to keep us alive and have kept us alive as a species for a very, 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 very long time. Okay? For hundreds of thousands of years, however long you think humans have been here. And I know the jury's still out on what you believe, and I'm not going to get into the weeds on that, but for a very, very long time. Okay? So flight or fight specifically allows you to act. Bada bing, right? It is, if you're being chased by the bear, the tiger's after you, you have to act and act now. So your flight or fight mode, these are the ones that are going to cause your heartbeat to increase, your oxygen rate to increase. You're going to have sharper hearing. You're going to have lowered pain perception. And your freeze, that is your immobility response. And that allows you to sharpen your senses and prepare for your next move, but you're not moving in the moment. Okay. And many of these can kind of work side by side from each other. And I'm not an expert at this, but I've read a little bit about it and I find it so fascinating. So flight, fight, or freeze are autonomic responses, meaning they are not conscious decisions. Your autonomic nervous system, your body deals with stress in its own way, and you are along for the ride. Okay, I'll get to a little into the weeds about that as well, but it is crazy. Like when you slam on the brakes real quick in the car because you see someone cut you off, or a tree branch falls, or you have to swerve around something, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm shaking because I was able to react really quickly. My body produced adrenaline. My heart is racing. I got this rush of a feeling of rush over me. You feel it, right? That adrenaline whoosh. And you're like, whoa, that you didn't say, heart, start racing, start pumping more blood to my body so I can have more oxygen. You didn't say that. You didn't tell your body to do that. You didn't say, adrenaline, please release, go. No, you had to do something so within a second, and your body knew what to do and reacted. And you went, oh, you were hyper vigilant, right? You knew and you acted. That is flight or fight response. Now, freeze response might be, I see the lion, mountain lion right there. I can feel my muscles tightening. My heart is, I'm getting ready. I can see my eyes are sharpening, my thoughts sharpening, and now I'm going to move right here, or I'm going to go scare it away. That's kind of a reactive, attentive immobility. That's the freeze mode. Okay. Yeah. So your body automatically does these things, which is amazing. It can get a little overreacted, a little dysregulated at times, and I'll talk about that in a second too. But let's talk about chronic stress. We talked about acute stress and those moments. Let's talk about chronic stress. So, chronic stress, on the other hand, occurs over a period of time. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. Ay, ay, ay. I apologize for that. The one thing I told my husband was that don't leave the puppies outside playing when our long grass guy who's was coming at some point today. Make sure you pull the puppies inside before the long grass guy comes. And I heard the long grass guy outside, and so I muted myself to say, Nick, did you pull the puppies in? And he's in the shower. The dogs are outside, so I had to stop and grab the dogs. We've got two puppies and put them in their soft pen with their treats so that they would not run off because they're not microchipped yet because they're not they're just babies, they're not fully vaccinated yet, so we're waiting till they're 6 months and then we get them microchipped, and I don't want to lose them because they're so cute. Anyway, ay, 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 ay. So glad he listened to me. Okay, so back to where I was. Hopefully I can pick up where I left off. Chronic stress occurs over a period of time. Chronic stress can include family pressures or family traumas, emotionally immature parents, financial concerns. Chronic stress can be long-term health issues like lupus, all right? And chronic stress can also be socioeconomic pressures, lack of social support, and this type of chronic stress can have a negative impact on physical and emotional health. I know. Duh, right? Really, Kelly, tell me something I don't know. Yes. But what's very fascinating is the amount of research that shows the connections between stress and poor health outcomes, specifically lupus health outcomes, increased lupus disease activity. There's a doctor that said that Manishki Jolly, MD, she said there are so many studies that connect stress with immune reactions. And she said, we definitely do know that stress brings about flares of lupus. And we know that stress is the number one trigger of lupus flares. And that can be something that happened in the family. It could be a divorce. It could be, financial stress, emotional stress, health stress. And in fact, there was a study done by the National Institute of Health that found a high percentage of lupus patients, almost 3/4, so 75%, perceived worsening in their clinical symptomology due to the effects of daily stress. So stress of their daily life was making their lupus symptoms worse. Now, that's considered chronic stress, not stressful events, acute stress, like a car accident or a weather mishap on your wedding day. You know what I mean? So that chronic stress worsened the clinical symptoms perceived by systemic lupus. Yeah, significantly, 75%. That's a lot. Sadly, chronic stress does not just affect lupus, but it can also have a detrimental effect on the endocrinological endocrinological that word right now on your adrenal system as well. So it's interesting because when you are stressed, you're feeling stress, your body releases the stress hormones and cortisol, adrenaline, and norepinephrine. Those are the stress hormones. And prolonged release of these hormones can have a negative impact on your physical and emotional health. So if you are in if your nervous system is dysregulated and you're in a hypervigilant state a lot of the time because of chronic stress, and your body is dysregulated where it is feeling the need to constantly be in flight or fight mode, it's producing these hormones all the time. It can have a wear on your body. It's not good. It's good for the temporary, save you from the bear. It's not good for the long term. And the adrenal glands can be put under a heck of a lot of stress, and that's not good. That's not good. It can have detrimental problems with blood pressure. Your blood pressure can always be high. Your immune system, you could be getting a lot of extra bugs here and there because it's just and other biological systems in your body. And if this is where you kind of feel that you're at, like your stress is just always being triggered, you have intense reactions to stress in your life, you feel like you're constantly in hypervigilant mode, it's important to work on strategies to decrease your emotional response. And these strategies may help prevent your stress, but also may help from it negatively affecting your lupus as well. Another reason why this is important, this is a little side note, is many of us take corticosteroids. Corticosteroids are one of the six now medications that are FDA approved to treat systemic lupus. It's been around for a long time. It is very good with counteracting lupus inflammation and doing that quickly. It's the fastest acting drug we have, and many of us take corticosteroids in different forms, whether it's daily doses of prednisone, whether it's a pack, a little whammy blast of methylprednisone, whether it is a stress dose or pulse dose of steroids like solumedrol or decadron for injections. A lot of us are taking various forms of corticosteroids. And corticosteroids are actually a synthetic form of cortisol. So when you're under stress, and then you've been on these doses of corticosteroids for a long time, your adrenal glands, which are these two pea-sized organs above your kidneys, get tired and they stop working like they should. And they stop producing your own cortisol, which is very dangerous and not good. So you've got all these things that are putting this extra stress on your adrenal glands, and you can get yourself into a sticky situation. I know Robin's here and she knows firsthand. I know I know firsthand as well, having been on corticosteroids for decades now. It is called adrenal insufficiency, or heaven forbid, adrenal failure or adrenal crisis. This is not the same thing as adrenal fatigue, okay? This is when your adrenals either completely shut down or they are not functioning nearly where they should be. And you can actually measure it by endocrinologists, and they can see that you are going into crisis. It is very scary and it is not good. So these are the things that we need to think about with stress. Also, if you have lupus, stress, and being on chronic steroids, this can be a problem. This is why we need to get our stress down. Yeah. Moving on. So let's talk about getting our stress down. Stress relieving techniques. There are a lot of different things. A lot of these things may seem like, but they are things that I tell you I have tried and have worked for me. Now, I know, as I mentioned earlier, not everything I tell you that worked for me will work for you. But these things are stabilizers for me. These are mood enhancers for me. These are life enhancing for me. So take it or leave it. These are the things that have worked for me. Number one is exercise, and I know I'm going to get haters for this. Exercise is not only the only thing that has been clinically proven to help improve lupus fatigue, but it also is clinically proven to help with stress. And if you can lower your stress, you can either completely sidestep lupus flares or at least make them more manageable by understanding these techniques. Exercise, walking, dancing, kickboxing, bike riding, getting out into the fresh air, reconnecting and grounding yourself with nature, taking a hike have all been clinically proven to reduce stress. Maybe that seems like a little bit much, but you just want to start with some body movement. Okay, yoga. Yoga is a mind-body practice that combines physical poses, controlled breathing, meditation, relaxation, and allows you to lower your stress. It can help lower blood pressure, your heart rate, improve your overall cardiovascular health. It can help with stabilization, strengthening your core, your range of motion, and muscle tone. Because as Dr. Thomas has stated several times, people with lupus have less muscle mass. It's just something they are now becoming very aware of in studying people with lupus. So it's important to do everything that you can to work those stabilizing muscles. Okay. So in yoga, they use a little bit of controlled breathing. Sometimes they call it fire breathing, but you do it through the movements. You breathe through the movements, right? But breathing techniques are another stress relieving modality. So mindful breathing, which is the 4-7-8 breathing, which is a form of ancient yoga practice, or breath control, pyramid breathing, all square breathing are all breathing techniques that have been proven to lower stress. And the 4-7-8 is breathe in for 4, hold for 7, exhale for 8. Okay. So all of those things can really help you to just center yourself, be aware of your breath, be aware of your body, and try and get your heart rate down. Breathing, I have a hard, some of the breathing technique stuff I struggle with. Probably because I had to do it in the hospital a lot, and I had a biofeedback technician who was not very kind. And so I had that kind of associated memory. And so when people think breathing techniques, I instantly think of biofeedback, and then I think of her, and it was great. So I struggle a little bit with that. I just want to be honest with you. And while I'm doing it, I'm thinking, am I relaxed yet? Is my blood pressure down? It's probably still too high. What was it last time I was at the doctor? Oh yeah, that was too high. Like I have a hard time kind of shutting off my brain. Sometimes I will do somewhat of a bilateral stimulation where you just I will breathe as I am tapping myself, and it kind of confuses my brain a little bit. I read it in a couple of books that if you do this while you're breathing, it kind of allows your brain to relax. And that can help with breathing techniques. So I've tried that to kind of offset my trauma response from that mean lady that was my biofeedback person. Anyway, so that's something you can do. Meditation and prayer can help you focus on things you're grateful for. Can help you. You can't heal what you don't feel, and just being able to think about something or not, just completely clear your mind, may result in a enhanced physical and emotional well-being. And the same thing goes with journaling. People, as I mentioned, can't heal what you don't feel. So getting it out, putting it on paper, writing a poem. I did a lot of that in my youth. It's good to just be able to get it out of you. I read once that you can't stop the birds from flying above your head, but you can stop them from nesting in your hair. So you can't stop the birds from flying above your head, but you can stop them from nesting in your hair. And that's kind of a silly thing to think about. But if you stop and think of the metaphor, there is things are going to come. Thoughts are going to come. Feelings are not bad. Thoughts are not bad. But what do you do with them? Do you ruminate on them nonstop and keep going over and over and over and over until you're spiraling out of control? Or do you say, yep, that thought was there. It's just a thought. I'm moving on with my life because I've got a nice, beautiful life to live. And just because that person said something about me doesn't mean it's true. So why am I wasting all of my precious energy in this beautiful day thinking about it? That's stopping from nesting in your hair. That's stopping from nesting in your hair right there. Okay? So those are some techniques. Journaling is also very beneficial to increase self-awareness, self-reflection, and process past trauma as well. Other stress relieving techniques include guided imagery, mindful apps on your phone. There's the Calm app on your phone too. A lot of people love that. Listening to calming, soothing music, progressive muscle relaxation. That's something that a lot of people do. Massage, acupuncture. As I mentioned, getting out into nature, going to the theater, things that bring you joy, right? And just as we are, oh my gosh, it's almost 11:55. As we are wrapping this up, Dr. Thomas, who wrote the Lupus Encyclopedia, now in its second edition, says this in his book. In his book, he says, experiencing stress while living with a chronic disease such as lupus can be a vicious circle. Therefore, it would seem important that people who have lupus should learn important stress reduction techniques as an important part of treating their lupus. It's just as important as taking medication, taking your D, taking your hydroxychloroquine, lowering stress. Okay? Lowering stress. Stress is the number one lupus trigger. Stress can cause cardiovascular events. Cardiovascular disease is the number one killer with lupus. Okay? You see, it's all connected. All connected. All righty, guys. Hi, everyone. That's all I have for you on that. And I was going to read to you from my book here. One thing that this book is really beautiful about is it gives you grounding techniques to help you through stress and to call back to yourself and what you're feeling and to get curious and to ask, why am I feeling anxious right now? Or why did I react like that to that comment? Or I wonder why. I'm feeling anxious probably because that reminded me of something that happened in the past. Something that she mentioned, and I've read it in this book and a couple other books that I have, is that when you react to something and you have big, huge reaction to it, it's 10% in the future and 90% in the past. Let that set in a little bit. Yeah. So as a practice, this gal in her book suggests that when you're feeling these moments of stress, that you put one hand on your heart and the other on your stomach to communicate with your body that you are here, that you have its back, that you know life is hard, and you know lupus is hard. And if it feels helpful, you may wish to bring on an affirmation to repeat to yourself to support you when you're feeling stressed. And her examples are to say things such as this: I can stay with myself. I can be gentle with how I'm feeling myself. I am beloved. It's okay to be in a process. I am making progress. I can come back to myself. If maybe this is out of my window of tolerance right now, or I have to put this in a jar because it's just too hard, I can come back to myself. I am responsible for only myself. Meaning you're not in charge of making other people better people. You can only control your decisions, nobody else's. It's okay for others to be uncomfortable when I set boundaries. I am allowed to take care of myself. Ooh, that's a hard one for me. I struggled with that. I felt really guilty when I went on vacation few weeks ago. We just relaxed. There wasn't nothing much to do. Was at the pool for a few short walks, ate some really yummy food, and I felt guilty. I am allowed to take care of myself. Okay? Anyway, if you want to check out this book, it's called Strong Like Water. It has a lot of fantastic ways to get in touch with your nervous system, to de-stress your life, and grounding techniques to help you do so in the process. And that's it, guys. That is all. I just want to say hi to some people now. We've got South Africa here. We've got Wisconsin. Carolyn, thank you for joining, and thank you for sharing your long journey with lupus. You've got me beat. I'm at 33 and you're at 42. Wow. It's been a journey, hasn't it? And it's changed a lot. The language has changed, the treatments have changed, the way society views chronic illness. I wish it would be better still. We're still kind of the most marginalized group, but it's changed. Yeah. I'm so happy to have you here, Carolyn. And Valerie, good to see you. You're from Florida. I love it. We got West Coast, East Coast, around the world. Michelle is here. I love you, Michelle. You are so sweet. Hello, everyone's saying hi. And then we've got Estelle from South Africa as well, which is so cool. We've got Kathy from New Zealand. Good day or good night. I don't know what time it is over there. Oh, we got my mom here. Hi, Mom. Good to see you here. My mom is in California, so that is really fun too. We got Robin here from Chicago watching on YouTube. I can't post on these. Oh, no, I'm sorry about that. Well, so happy to have you all today. I hope you found this informative. I'm so thankful for each one of you who joined today. And please come back next week. Have a great rest of your Passover, as well as Good Friday, which is approaching, and Easter. Hope you have good family time. Take care of yourself. And that is it. See you next time. Bye-bye.